Welcome back to the channel, guys. Mule Fabrication. We are going to be continuing on this rear roll cage. The goal for this video is to get it all tied into the frame, and I got a couple little more tubes in here that I want to add, and then this is going to be all fit up and tied in and solid, so if this does take a rollover sometime, it's going to crush my head in. So let's get to it. If you haven't seen where we left off, you can go back to my other videos of this whole build that I've been doing. So thanks guys for watching. So where we left off last time was I was trying to tie this into the rear, right above the rear axle, and I didn't like how the cage, where I was going to tie it in, this tube would have been in the way of the Schrader valve for the ORI, so I wanted to put a bend in it. So I put a nice little rough estimate bend on this side and one on this side. So I'm going to chop these off and kind of fit them in there and see what makes sense with the clearance, and if I got to bump the bend a little bit more, I will. But I'm going to get these chopped up and we'll go from there. So where we left off last video is I was visualizing something like this, you know, to transfer this load down into the frame like this. But I really didn't like the amount of clearance there with the Schrader valve for the ORI, and I don't want to point that Schrader valve this way and risk it getting knocked off by a rock or something else. So this is the solution. I'm going to try to do something of this sorts to give me that extra clearance so I can get in there to fill that ORI with nitrogen. So I'm going to make some marks, and then there'll be a plate down here that bolts to the frame. But I think it should work. Figure out which end I want to do. Yeah, that's a lot more clearance than that setup. So I'm gonna make some marks, make some cuts, go back and forth like I usually do, and we'll see how this setup turns out. So I've been going back and forth, and this is what I got. So it'll come in right where these two tubes come into the cross brace, and that bend there gives me plenty of clearance there. Come down to a little plate, and that'll bolt right to the top of the frame. So I'm going to copy this for the other side, and then we'll come in and get them tacked in place. Got this side tacked up. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's go to the other side. All this blue tape from fitting up, or from imagining where the roll cage is supposed to go. Everything's sitting where I like that. And then tack, tack, tack. And those are in. Tied right down into the frame. Well, it will be once I drill holes and bolt them in place, but that gives me plenty of room for that Schrader valve. It's getting really nice here in Wisconsin. T-shirt weather. Well, 50 degrees for Wisconsin's our t-shirt weather. So I'm going to drill some holes in, see if I can point that, those bottom plates right there to mount it to the brackets. So I got those plates bolted on to the bottom of where the roll cage is. And I know the angles are not that great, but I'm going to put a piece of tube from there to the top of the frame. And then I think I'm going to tie those vertical ones that go down with a tube across to the other side. And that'll help stiffen up where I took that cross member out for make clearance for the 4-link bars. So that's where we're at. It'll just add a little structure and be a nice solid mount for the roll cage. You know, keep my head protected if this thing ever rolls, which hopefully it never does. But, you know, it looks cool and keep me safe. So I'm going to go get some tubes, chop them up, and see what I can get to fit in there nice. Well, at first I was just going to start chopping this tube up and guesstimate, but I decided instead of trying to save myself some time, I got under there and made just a quick little cardboard template that's close to the right size so I can get it close the first cut, and then you know how it goes here, go back and forth, tuning and grinding it to get it to fit right. So I'm going to cut this up off this tube so I kind of got a rough estimate of the angles, and then we'll go from there. See how close I can get on the first try, which never usually happens, but on rare occasions it does. So let's go. Well, let's see. It actually fit up pretty nice. I know you can't see much from this angle, maybe from this angle, but that's kind of what I'm going for. I'll do some fine tuning, get the top of the frame cleaned off, tacked in place, and I'll copy it on the other side, because that cardboard worked pretty good, and then I'll get back to you guys. Woo! Alright, I got these pieces tacked in, and you know, crawling under here is not fun. So if any of you guys want to donate me a hoist, that would be awesome. But got that one and roughly tacked in right there, right to that plate, driver's side. And sorry, it's not focusing on the passenger side. So now I am going to measure between the two, and we're going to put a tube across from there to there. And that one will be fun because it'll be like an angled compound cope in there. So this one will be lots of going back and forth. So I will get that measured up and cut, and we'll see how close I get. So I got this piece measured out and cut. It was at 46 inches, and I'm finding another use for my rough cardboard CAD. So I'm envisioning it in the truck, you know, like this. You know, with this plane flat and this plane flat, so I can estimate the cut and the cope for this. So that's what I'm going to do to just get the rough cut in there, and this is cut a little bit long, so then I'll have the little room for tuning it to get that cope to fit nice onto these pieces that go from the roll cage to the frame. And this tube across, like, it's going to support a lot of weight like this direction, and it's going to help tie the two frame rails together where I cut a cross member out before to make room for the 4-link bars, as I said before. So I might even add a second one of these in further down here to kind of mimic what that old cross member was. So we'll get to that point when we get there, but this is just a random Vince thought in his head, thought I'd share. So lay this out. chop it on both sides and get to fitting. Tube work is a wonderful thing to do on a Saturday. Sometimes. Well, after a few trips back and forth, got that piece mocked up. I'm gonna come back and tack this thing up, and we'll start working on a second cross member to come over, or another tube to come over here to replace the one that was cut out right in this section. So I'll get it tacked up. I got to move some stuff to get the bender out, because that one I'm gonna have to put some bends in to clear these 4-link bars, and we'll go from there. So I got the tube bender out, went under the truck and took some measurements for that crossover, and I'm gonna have to do some bends like this to get it a little bit higher up to clear the upper 4-link bars. So I'm gonna put roughly a 30 to 40 degree bend in this on each end, and then we'll go see how it looks, see if we got to bend it some more or whatnot, or how it fits up. So I'm gonna get to bending, and I'll bend these both sides, and I'll get under the truck with you guys and show you what I'm thinking of. So I'm gonna start bending. So I got that piece bent, and I got a piece of flat here laid out and measured 3 inches, or a piece of angle, 3 inches from here to here. So then I can get the angle for this cut here. I am going to mark it out, cut it, and throw it up under the truck, and hopefully it fits. Well, that second bar landed perfect. So it's going to go right on, so you can see, right on top of the frame. Basically the same height and parallel to this crossbar for the roll cage. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Been busting my butt trying to get videos out on this thing. I know it's been a while since I had an update on the Mule build, but I'm going to be working on trying to get them out faster now. So, sweet. Talk to you guys later.